That's the beginning. And so many people we send to Washington, we train them how to be candidates and win elections, but we don't train them how to deal with Washington. We don't train them, we don't hold them accountable for principles. They don't have any principles. Their principle is they want to get elected. You have to hold these people's feet to the fire. And you hear this time and time again. I got to be friends with Alan West, and Alan West said, man, you get to Washington, the first thing they tell you is, Congressman, no, it just doesn't happen that way here, sir. As you spend a couple of years and months here, you begin to see how things actually happen here. And Alan West said, you're not telling me how things happen here. I'm telling you how things happen here. There are 535 Americans who live in a democracy. We think we live in a democracy? We don't live in a democracy. 300 million of us do not live in a democracy, but 535 of us do. 435 members of the House of Representatives and 100 senators live in a democracy. You get to vote about what actually happens. And what people like Alan West and people like Warren Peterson do is they have the courage and the convictions to say to the establishment, you are a civil servant. I represent the people. You don't tell me what to do. I tell you what to do. And I have so much respect, even a radical progressive who had that sense of, my radical progressive constituency has sent me to Washington to do a job on their behalf. I respect that guy much, much more than I respect some guy who goes along and gets along with whatever he has to do because he wants an extra this or he wants a vote on that. It's about principle. And this comes down to the most important thing, so I want to come back and talk to Warren because of the ground game. Folks, there's only one way really to save this country. I started this speech tonight by saying we have to win elections, but what I really meant to say was we have to win elections with citizen legislators. We have to elect people, real people, after they go to Washington, and they do 2 years or 4 years or 6 years, and they come home in glory, back to their businesses. They take expertise, they put it over there, and then they come back while that expertise is still fresh. Robert Byrd died a couple years ago. He was a senator for 52 years. Robert Byrd died, he had been in the Senate longer than I've been alive. I was just turned 52 myself. Robert Byrd was elected to the Senate before there was color television, before there were touch-tone phones, forget about the internet machine and all that other nonsense of tubes and connections and stuff. How's that guy relevant? I had talked to somebody last night in Tucson who said that he talked to Fred Thompson, said, Fred, what's it like being in Washington for 10 or 15 years? Fred said, makes me pine for the sincerity and authenticity of Hollywood. It's a magic bubble that you live in, where all of your needs are met. People find out what kind of drink you like, Senator. I'm a Glenfiddich kind of guy. Next thing you know, you go out on dinner on the town, and here comes a bottle of 18-year-old Glenfiddich. Oh no, it's on me. You can resist that for a while, but you can't resist that forever. Not the best person made can resist that forever. You have to go to Washington with principles, and then you have to come home before they bleed them out of you. And we make that decision, not them. Not the best of them make a decision whether to stay or not. We decide. If they're doing a good job, keep them there. If they're not, bring them home. Throw them out. Get somebody else. 300 million people ought to be able to put 535 people into that city pretty consistently, I would think. I don't think there's any one of them that's essential to the survival of the Republic without which the Republic will fall. So that's, I think, your answer. We're going to do one more and then we're going to call it a night. Yes, sir.